Hello. We're going to give it a minute and then we're going to get into a little lesson today. We're going to talk through the rules, quote unquote, of dating. The rules of dating. I'm trying to get this. Ooh. Take my headphones. See if I can, okay, get this to balance. Okay. So we'll give it a minute and then we're going to get into the rules of dating. We're going to discuss rules 1 through 20 today. This is based on a best-selling book that it's kind of seen as like the Bible of dating. And so I really want to get into it because there's a lot of good advice here. It's a lot of really important rules. Hi, everybody. All right, we'll give it a minute or two. And then we're going to dive into the lesson for today. We're going to talk about the rules of dating. Hello, hello. We're going to get into the rules of dating. The rules, the non-negotiable rules. We're going to talk about how to apply these in your love lives. Yes, so I usually do question and answer at the end of my lives. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay with my headphones in. And then also let me know where you guys are tuning in from. I'm really curious. You can hear me? Okay, awesome. Awesome. All right, we'll give it one more minute, you guys. And then if you're joining, oh, you're from the UK. Hello. We'll give it one more minute, and then we're going to dive into the lesson. We're going to dive into the lesson, the non-negotiable rules of dating. Start to finish, everything you need to know. It's going to be good. Perfect for Lionsgate. Lionsgate is going on today, so we're going to manifest great boyfriends for all of you. Hello. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from. I'm really curious. We'll take one more minute and then we're going to get into the lesson for today. We're going to dive into the rules of dating. Oh, Ireland. I love it. I love it. Hello. Tennessee. Hello. What's up? All right, friends. Let's dive into the non-negotiable rules of dating, because this could make or break your dating life. So this is based on the book, All the Rules. Let me look up. Yeah, I got to remember who it's by. It's called All the Rules for Capturing the Heart of Mr. Right. So we're going to dive into it start to finish because these rules will make or break your dating life. So rule number 1 is be a creature unlike any other. So you have to own your uniqueness, confidence, and magnetism. So if you are dating, instead of trying to give in to the pressure of being like everybody else and constantly kind of changing yourself based on like what's popular or what you think men like, It's actually quite the opposite. You want to lean into your uniqueness, your confidence, and whatever makes you magnetic. So, this really comes down to your identity. You want a man to feel like you are difficult to replace. If you act like every other girl he's ever met and you're just super people pleasing, begging him to like you, he's not going to be interested in you. And so, directly from the book, it says, being a creature unlike any other is about attitude, sense of confidence, and radiance. So, it comes down to the way you smile, the way you present yourself, the way you speak, having that siren pace to your voice, like we're always talking about. It's the way you dress. Do you dress in a way that makes you feel comfortable, confident? Or are you wearing like super revealing clothing because you want him to like you so much? So it's leaning in to what makes you unique instead of feeling pressured to be something that you think he wants. Hard if this is making sense, you guys, or if you want me to dive into it more. And the other part of this I would add is coming across as very positive mindset. There are very few men who are attracted to women that are super negative, especially right off the bat. Like if he's on a first date with you and the tone is like very negative and you're complaining about your work problems, whatever, maybe he's going to empathize and chat with you about it, but it's really repellent. It's like a very low vibe, a negative energy. The hot energy is I'm really positive. Maybe not everything's perfect in my life, but I have a winner's mindset. I'm going to get through this, hiccup or whatever you're going through. That's the kind of energy that draws a guy to you. So if you're just joining, we're covering today all the rules of dating, the non-negotiable rules. And this is based on the book, All the Rules. So this is a review based on this best-selling book and then my opinion as a dating coach on it. So rule number 1, leaning into your uniqueness. Be a unique creature. If you are looking for a permission slip to be who you are instead of trying to be the woman you think he wants you to be, this is your permission slip. Lean into what makes you unique. In studies, when they test people for their vibration, the highest vibration above love is authenticity. That is when you become magnetic. So instead of diminishing all the things that you perceive as weird or odd or not likable about yourself, lean into it. You are one of one, no matter who you are. That is your power. That is your superpower as a woman. And the other thing that's included in this rule is showing that you are the main character of your life. Because you don't want to show up on a date being super adamant that you are just looking for a guy to star in the movie of your life. That's giving pick me energy. That's giving I don't love myself energy. I need a guy to give me an identity, to give me worth. All of you are above that, obviously. Goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. So when you're on a first date, not showing up and telling him like, "Oh, I'm really just waiting to get married." That's not main character energy. Your life doesn't begin when you get married. So having that mindset of like, my life is thriving now. I know I'm that bitch. I'm confident. I know I have flaws, but I don't give a fuck. That is the kind of energy that draws a man towards you. Hard if this rule is making sense. Leaning into what makes you the most magnetic. And if a man doesn't like you, then he's not the right guy for you. You're never convincing a man of your worth. Does that include appreciating physically unique features in ourselves? Absolutely. Great question. Absolutely. Thank you. So, leaning into what makes you the most unique. Tell yourself in your head when you're dating, any guy would be lucky to be with me. Have that mentality. You're not proving your worth to him. If he doesn't like you, you're not like going to be single forever. You're just going to move on to another guy who does see the value in you, who does appreciate you for who you are. All right, rule number 2. Now, why does proving my worth feel good though? Because it feels validating. Likely, when you are proving your worth to a man and he is responding favorably, it gives you a little bit of validation, which can feel really rewarding. But it's short lived because if you are getting validation from him for being something you are not, eventually, even if you date that guy, the jig will be up one day because that's not who you really are. It's so much wiser to just lean into everything you think is undesirable about you and be like, fuck it, this is who I am. That's confidence. Confidence is not being perfect, it's not having zero flaws. It's having flaws and owning them. It's having flaws and knowing you're still lovable, you're still worthy of being chosen. That's the hot magnetic energy to a man. Hard if that's making sense or if you guys have any other questions about that rule. Yes, being yourself. And I would also include in this having strong boundaries and vision for your life. So, leaning into who you uniquely are, but also knowing where you want to go in life. It's not a hot energy to be like, oh, yeah, all I do is drink on the weekend. Yeah, I hate my job, but I'm not doing anything about it. That's not the sexy hot energy. All right. Rule number 2. This is going to cause some of you to like, but this is the second rule of the book, and we're going to chat about it. Don't talk to men first. Do not initiate first. The premise of this is to let a man initiate so he feels the thrill of the pursuit. Men were wired to be hunters. That's the crazy thing. A lot of women wrongfully think if I make it easier for him, he'll want to be with me. If I initiate first, he'll feel more comfortable. If I call him, then he'll ask me out. Men do not want it to be easier. They like the thrill of the chase. Maybe a lazy guy wants it to be easier, but none of you want to date a guy like that. None of you want to be with a guy who lacks ambition and wants to sit on the couch and play video games all day. That's the kind of guy who's going to be like, great, she's initiating all the time. Not a man in his masculine, certainly. So you can make yourself approachable, though. That's the caveat here. You're not initiating anything with him, but you're approachable in the sense that if you are going out and you are ideally want to meet a man when you're out, don't be at the bar like this, because then the likelihood any man is going to initiate conversation with you is slim to none. Smiling to the room. Smiling to the room. You're very light. You're very friendly. That's the kind of energy that draws men in. That's giving him the green light to come up to you and initiate conversation, whatever that may be. Another great strategy for this is eye contact. You see a cute guy across the bar, your eyes meet, hold eye contact and smile. That's giving him the green light to initiate conversation. So you're still allowing him to pursue you. You're not pursuing him. Hard if this is making sense, you guys. And the other thing is the masculine bonds through action. So you don't want to rob him of the hunt. That's the crazy thing. The more that he has to pursue you and court you and win you over and figure out how to get you to like him, the more he likes you. He's bonding to you throughout that process. And a man who isn't willing to pursue you, the hard facts are, I'm telling you guys this because I love you, a guy who wouldn't be willing to pursue you is not a guy who's going to date you long term. It's likely a guy who's just trying to hook up with you and then dip. A guy who's serious about having a relationship with you is going to continually initiate dates. It's going to call you and text you. You're warm when you respond, but you're certainly not chasing after him. You have to kind of shake the mentality of like, if I make it easier for him, then he'll chase after me. I know when I was younger, I had that mentality. And I'd be like, I'm going to make it super easy, or let him know I'm in town visiting, or, I'm going to reach out to him and let him know I'm available Thursday night. It always fell flat because the only man that's going to work with is a passive man. And so even being in a relationship with a passive man is oh my God, that's a slow death, in my opinion. It's exhausting. So if you're in the proximity of that guy and you want him to initiate, being really warm, smiling, having fun with your friends, laughing, having open posture to the room, that signals to a man, I am open to be approached. If you have a resting bitch face, which, listen, you're in good company. People tell me all the time, I have a resting bitch face. But if you do that, he's going to be more intimidated to come up and talk to you and might not do it. So you want to give him the green light for him to initiate. What questions do you guys have on this? Rule number 2, if you're just joining. Rule number 2 for dating: don't talk to a man first. Let him initiate. Awesome. What if you chased him in the beginning and want to get your power back? Definitely is possible to take your power back if you were initiating, but you can always switch the dynamic, especially if you were chasing after him very frequently. Once you pull back, he will feel that power dynamic switch and either come chasing after you or pull back and focus on other women who chase him. But ultimately, if a man wants you to chase after him, if that's the only way you stay in contact with him, it's a losing game. That's a man in his feminine. And a man in his feminine is going to push you into your masculine. And that's why, as a woman, if you're texting a guy all the time, you're initiating dates, it feels uncomfortable. Like, it feels weird and like icky. And that's because it's not natural for you as a woman to be in your masculine. But it's natural for him. But these men who lack ambition and want to sit around and be passive all the day, they're in their feminine energy and they want a masculine woman. So that's kind of how you know. Yeah. If you've ever experienced that, it is exhausting. It's a lost cause, men like that. So you want to allow a man to initiate first. The crazy thing is, he likes you more when he gets to be in his masculine, when he gets to pursue you. It creates an emotional bond between you and him. All right. Rule number 3. Heart, if this is helping. Rule number 3, you guys. Don't call him and rarely return his calls. This is a tough one. So, really not calling him is letting him lead the conversation. This is similar to what we just discussed, and having him reach out to you first. So, simply smiling at the room, like we just talked about, and looking relaxed and approachable makes him come up to you. But if you are a chatterbox to him, it's overwhelming. And it's a lot for a man to absorb. Remember, men love mysterious women. It's the cliffhanger effect. When he feels like he knows a little bit about you, but he wants to know more, he feels like he doesn't totally have you figured out, that's when it ignites his pursuit instinct as a man. So if you meet a guy out at a bar tonight, and you're having a great conversation, you must be the one to end the conversation first. A pick-me girl, a girl who's desperate for a guy's attention, she will sit there and basically like vampire all of his energy out until he has to leave. That's giving desperate energy. And that is repellent to a man. Mark my words on that. He should be having to earn your attention. He doesn't just get it because he's 6'5" and has blue eyes. The more you make a man earn it, the more he appreciates it. And remember, at the end of the day, men fall in love with your essence, with your energy, not with anything in particular that you say. So when you're being chatty, when you first meet him, and you feel like that's causing him to pursue you, it's usually repelling him. You've created the initial spark, and now you need to pull back, leave the bar first, leave the conversation first, leave him wanting more. When he calls you on the phone, you need to be the one to hang up first. Remember, this is not about playing games, because I can already hear it in my comments. This is about decentering men from your life. A man is not the savior of your life. He's not the purpose of your life. No man deserves that trying to think, that status. You are the main character of your life. So it doesn't matter how cute and charming he is. He has to earn a spot in your life. He doesn't just get it. And he likes you more for it. He likes you more for having strong boundaries. So let him lead with communication and show him that you value your time. You don't freely give it out. He has to earn it. So we're going through the 20 rules of dating today. So this is rule 3. Don't call him and hang up first, I would add. And you don't want to be instantly accessible, or else you become forgettable to a man. So if every time he calls, you pick up right away, he's like, "Oh, he assumes she has nothing to do but sit at home and wait for my calls all day." The hot girl lets it go to voicemail, not because she's playing games, but because she's busy. She has a social schedule, and she has a fitness routine, and she has a thriving career. She has all these things that make her the main character. And therefore, when a guy calls, she doesn't always answer. She's busy. And the irony is that when you have less free time to spend with him, he values it more. The psychology of this is the scarcity effect. Anything that's super accessible in our human brains, we associate with ordinary and low value. Anything that's more rare, we associate as higher value. So think about like the Labubus that are so popular right now. It's not like, some of them are selling you guys on eBay for like $500. It's not like a Labubu actually takes $500 to make. It's that they are very exclusive. And so therefore their value goes up. Or like any of these limited edition collabs that designers do. It's because there's such a limited amount, the value goes up. And it's the same way with your time as a woman. If you have tons of free time, he instantly puts the value of your time as lower, because he's like, she has nothing else going on in her life, which is not a hot energy. So hard if this is making sense, or if you guys have any questions about this. Don't call him and rarely return his calls. Rule number 3. If you are initiating more than 80%, you're in his masculine. That's what the book says. I would say 80% is high. I would say 25%. So I usually tell my clients, every 5 times a guy texts you first, you can text him back. That's fair. It's not like, or no, sorry. Every 5 times he texts you first, you can text him first. 5 to 1 is like the ratio to keep you in your feminine, to show him that you are interested in him and encourage him to keep chasing you. And a simple way to do this is to mirror his effort. So if he texts you every 3 hours, don't text him more than 3 hours later. That's how you know if you're giving him too much interest or too little interest. Yes, black cat energy. Should he or we send the last text? Ideally, he should send the last text. And that's why, like, an easy way to do this, you guys, if he texts you late at night, don't respond, go to bed, wake up in the next morning and text him back the next day. And I'm telling you, by the time he gets your text the next day, he can't wait to get it because you delayed the gratification of it. What if he replies instantly? Still take a while to respond. And again, it's not because you're playing games. It's because you should have other things going on in your life besides this man you're dating, especially a guy you just started dating. It's different, obviously, with a partner. This is in the dating, the beginning, like courting stages. Heart if this is making sense. So that is number 3 on the rules today. Rule number 4. Always end the phone calls first. We just kind of touched on this, but you are not meeting him halfway or going Dutch with him. That is like never. Men love a challenge. That's the thing. That's why they play sports games, they fight wars, they love F1 racing. The worst thing you can do as a woman is make it super easy on him. That is the fastest way to smother the flame of desire. Men feel really good when they have to work to see you, when they feel like they earned a night with you. Not that it's super easy to get a night with you and you would hang out with anybody who said they kind of liked you. That's giving weak boundaries. That's giving, I don't love myself. I don't know I'm the prize. And on that note, men should be rearranging their schedules around your schedule because they are pursuing you. And another thing with this, oh my God, this is something that like irks me, is there are definitely men out there who will ask you to dinner and they'll try to get you to come to their area. So, in terms of like New York, if I live on the Upper West Side and I go on a date with a guy in Soho, he ideally should pick a restaurant near where I live on the Upper West Side or minimally in the middle. But if he's like, no, you come to Soho, he's already telling you he has no issue being selfish and causing you an inconvenience. And that kind of says a lot about his character before you've even met him, before you've even gone on the date with him. And if it were me, I would not go on that date. I would not waste my time with a guy who has already told me he has no issue being selfish. That's not a guy who's actually interested in dating you. That's a guy who wants to sleep with you and then never call you again. Girls are fragile. I think the male ego is fragile. But what if there's an awesome restaurant by him? I have gotten this feedback before, you guys. This one guy specifically that I was chatting with, I was asking him like about tips for you guys. And he was like, yeah, but there's cooler restaurants by me. Okay, still. I still don't think it's still selfish. Unless he's sending you a car there and back, it's still just horrible etiquette. It's bad manners. 9 times out of 10, those men tend to suck. I would not personally waste my time going out to dinner with a guy like that. You want a man who's chivalrous. You want a man who finds joy in being chivalrous. And on that note, I'm going to skim over this because you guys know. If a guy wants to go 50-50 with you on a date, it's a hard no. You'd never see that guy again. I'm going to be honest. Really, I think never. But on a first date, absolutely never. And I know there's like some men who have strong feelings about that. I've taken their feedback back. I've asked great guys in my life about it. And now I'm back and I'm willing to double down on it. There are men that I know who tell me like it's insulting when a woman offers to pay half because of course they would pay. There's like that viral video of that guy, Charles Kirk or something like that, where he's like, as a man, my honor is not worth the price of half a dinner. That's the kind of man that you would want to date. A guy who wants to go 50 with you on a first date, cut your losses. You're better off dating a cockroach on the side of the street. I had a first date with a guy that asked me to PayPal him my soft drink as fucking if. Goodbye. Ew. So anyway, I'm going to skim over that because you guys know how I feel. We've talked about that before. But my nerdy guy friend says, then girls just use it for a free dinner. He's fine. They're fine. Yeah. Half a dinner's like what, $75 tops. If he actually wants to date you, if he actually has intentions of impressing you, he'll pay for it. And if he doesn't have 75 spare dollars, then he can't afford to be your boyfriend anyway. So cut your losses. I don't care. I'll be the bad guy. I want better for all of you than a guy who wants you to PayPal him for a soft drink. Not in this life. Remember, the buckets of dating, you guys, up here, the top tier is being with a guy who makes your life better. Under that is being single and filling your own cup, becoming an improved version of yourself. All the way down here, below hell, is being with a guy who drains you, being with a guy who depletes you, being with a guy who is slowly taking from you and you're becoming a more drained, exhausted version of yourself. So I would always rather be single than be with a guy who thinks we should go 50-50 on a first date. Take it or leave it. That's my true opinion. All right, if you're just joining, we're covering the rules of dating today. So now rule number 5. Gold diggers actually want gold, not a Caesar salad. Yeah. And on that note, the only men who are going to call you a gold digger for not wanting to pay for half a dinner is a broke man. I have never heard a successful man utter the term gold digger. To them, it's like, of course I would support her. Of course I would provide. That's a man in his masculine. These loser men who want to be lazy, and you guys know what this is? This is the world's tiniest violin. They pull that out when they ask you to pay for half the dinner. Nope. Try again. I'm looking for a man that will spoil me. Yes, Jen, you deserve that. Hold out for that. All right. Rule number 5. Don't call him and rarely return his calls. So if you're just joining, we're going through the 20 rules of all the rules, a very famous dating book. So we're covering the ins and outs. There is no reason to call him first. He should be calling you and calling you again until he pins you down for a date. And some of you are going to say, but that's rude. Nope. Prioritize yourself. That's what men do. They prioritize themselves. And that's why, there's that book, Why Men Love Bitches. They secretly like women who prioritize themselves. The other day, I saw a video by another dating coach, and he was saying men secretly like selfish women. They wouldn't say it like that, but that's what it is. I would say it doesn't feel aligned for me to be promoting being selfish. I would say men are attracted to women who hold strong boundaries because they love themselves, because they know they are the prize, because they don't let just any schmuck into their life. He has to prove that he deserves the spot. He doesn't just get it. Those are the kind of women who love themselves so strongly that they only want a man who's adding to their life, not just any guy. Otherwise, they would rather stay single. So don't worry about being rude. Prioritize yourself. If he wants to get in touch with you, he will call again or he will text. If you are busy or hard to get, he will keep calling. He will keep reaching out. And the other thing is, if you don't answer his call, don't respond right away. Don't call him back immediately. It's not about playing games. It's about having a well-rounded life outside of men. A lot of times I don't text people back for a few hours because I have so much going on in my life. It's not because I'm like being rude or I'm leaving them on red, even my girlfriends. I'm just busy. Yes, Brandon is definitely broke. We'll keep him in our prayers. Wish him well. So don't call back right away. And when you do, referencing um an earlier rule, once you call him back, you have to be the one to hang up first. You don't have tons of time to be talking nonstop with this guy who's not even your boyfriend. Remember, prioritizing your own life. You are that bitch and you have a very busy life. You're not just waiting for a guy to come into your life and give it meaning. You know you're the star of the show. And on that note, if you have a date with a guy, according to the rules, he needs to schedule it several days in advance. I would say 2 dates as a dating coach. So if he wants to go out Friday night with you, he needs to schedule it by Wednesday. But never, ever, ever accept a last minute date. Because here's the thing, you think as a woman, it's just one time. I'm going to go on a last minute date with him. But God forbid he is filling his night because he's bored, or the girl he actually wanted to go out with canceled last minute. So he's texting you. And now you're indirectly telling him, you'll deal with being treated like that. And when you show him you're willing to accept when you're willing to accept disrespect, he's going to continue to give it to you. Have self-respect. Don't accept a last minute date. If he actually likes you, he'll plan it. He's an adult man. That's my like vendetta of the year. Like, stop making excuses for adult men. So he needs to book the date 2 days in advance, and he needs to text you confirming the date by 2 p.m. the day of. 2 p.m. That means I saw a video of this the other day, you guys, and it was a girl, and she was like, he didn't text me the day of the date. And it's like her throughout the day. It's a vlog. It's like her throughout the entire day. Like, he still hasn't texted me. It's like 5 p.m., still hasn't texted me. And then 6 p.m., she still got ready for the date in case he texted. And then the poor thing, I wanted to like hug her. He never texted her and she's all ready. And so she went to dinner by herself. Literally like makes my heart hurt, you guys. If he does not text you by 2 p.m., make other plans. Do not wait around all day for this guy to get his shit together and follow through on his word. A guy like that, a guy who texts you, like, let's play devil's advocate. You have a date at 8 p.m. and he texts you 7:30 confirming the date. That's not a guy you want as your boyfriend. That's not a guy who cares about you and prioritizes you and is honestly even considerate of your time. It's a lot of what's said and the unsaid. So if a guy actually cares about you, he'll confirm the day of. And if he doesn't, you lost nothing. You lost out on a guy who can't plan, an adult man who can't plan. Where is the loss? I don't hear any. And the other thing with this that I feel like is a bit of a lost art is you have to give him space. So, along with the calling or the texting, You have to give him space to pursue you. And a lot of times, especially if you have an anxious attachment, it will feel scary to go a day or two without texting the guy you like. But here's the hard facts. A guy like who's busy and in his masculine likely has other things going on. And until you are in a committed relationship, I don't think going a day without texting each other should send you into a spiral. But I do, I get I see your guys' DMs. You're like, he didn't text me for 2 days. If he's your boyfriend, okay, of course, that's different. But in the courting stage, if you guys are just casually dating, you're not in a committed relationship, a day or two should not send you in a spiral. If you are on top of each other, it's smothering the flame of desire. Men fall in love in your absence. My grandmother told me that when I was a little girl, and now we have science to support that. You as a woman, you fall in love with his presence. You as a woman fall in love with oxytocin, the cuddle hormone, and dopamine, the feel-good hormone. Men fall in love vasopressin. Vasopressin. Vasopressin is released when he has to problem solve. So when you give him space, you're not on top of him. He has to wonder about you. Your best tool as a woman in dating is using a man's imagination to your benefit. And that is why when you over-explain yourself, you trauma dump, you tell him everything up front, he's like, all right, I already have Carissa figured out. Check. There's no rumination. There's no imagination going. You want to be mysterious. You want him to wonder about you. You want him to think about you when you're not around. That is how you know you moved in to live rent-free in here. So when you're not on top of him, texting him constantly before he's your boyfriend is a bad idea. The hot energy is, I have a well-rounded life. I'm busy. I know I'm that bitch. You want a spot in my life. You have to prove it. You have to work for it. You don't just get it because you're 6'5" and blue eyes and have a bank account, whatever. Don't view a guy not texting you for a day or two as a bad thing. Smart girls know how to use silence, how to use absence to their benefit. It makes men like you more. What are some tips if you're his girlfriend? We'll get into that. So right now we're covering the tips, the rules for dating, and then we'll get into committed relationships. So it's coming. So don't call him all the time. Don't answer the phone. Don't call him back right away. Don't text him back right away. It makes him like you more. It makes him be like, wow, she has a really busy life. And I have to work hard to get in her life. He loves that challenge. We talked about this at the beginning of the live. You as a woman think if I make it really easy, he will want to date me. No. Men like challenges. They like excitement. That's why they insist on doing wars nonstop all the time. That's why they like F1 races and sports. They like the feeling of winning. Make him feel like he has to win you over. He doesn't just get it. If he feels like he just gets you, that's like a participation trophy. What do we all do with a participation trophy? Throw it in the trash. What we hang on our wall is like first place trophies that we earned. That's the dopamine rush. Men in their masculine want to pursue. Men in their feminine want to sit on the couch all day and eat Cheetos. You don't want a guy like that who doesn't have the drive to pursue you. A lot of these rules are about attracting in the right men and repelling the wrong men. All right, hard if this is making sense, you guys. And then we're going to dive into rule number 6. Rule number 6. Yeah, so if you guys are just joining, just a reminder, I started recording all of my lives on YouTube. So if you want to go back and see the beginning rules, you want to refresh at another time, Please check the recording out on YouTube. All right, guys, rule number 6. Always end the phone call first. I would say also, ideally, always be the last one to leave the conversation in texting. So he should send the last text and you don't respond. Or you can heart it. You can also heart it. By ending the conversation first, you leave a man wanting more. So here are some good one-liners if you're on the phone with him and you don't know how to wiggle out of the conversation. It's been really great to chat with you, Chad, but I have a million things to do, so I gotta go. Another one-liner. Well, Jacob, it's been really nice talking to you, but I'll talk to you at another time. Another one-liner is, actually, I'm kind of busy, Jake, but I'll call you later. Or not answering at all. Also valid. Women love to talk, and that is one of your faults with men. I'm going to tell you guys the truth because I think real friends tell you the truth, not just stuff you want to hear. So I'm holding your hand when I say this, and I'm saying this because I want the best for all of you. Sometimes the truth sets you free. A man is not your therapist. And as women, I see it happen a lot with clients. They want to chat with that guy up and down, tell him their life story. And I get that's so well intentioned. But the thing is that when you do that, there's no mystery, there's no chase. It's too much. Men are not like that. Chat with your girlfriends like that. But do not chat with a man, especially a man who's not your boyfriend, like that. Hours on end. You want to come off as mysterious. So getting off the phone first gives that mysterious energy. He's like, where is she going? Why is she so busy? And I will tell you, 9 times out of 10 in the male head, he will assume you have other men you're seeing. What does that do? It ignites his competitive side. And here's the thing. All of you women, not all of you women, some of you women might feel a little guilty. It's not nice to get off the phone. Here's the thing. Women, a lot of women, most women, were raised to be the nice girl. It was prioritized to be nice over being respected. And what did that do in our dating lives as adults? It screwed all of us over. You should always have your self-respect higher than your desire to be the nice girl. If you think it's not nice to end the conversation first with a man, obviously you want to be polite. I'm not telling you any of you to be rude. I want to be very clear. But prioritize your own time. Don't talk on the phone with that guy. The worst thing you can do is give a man the impression that you aren't busy and sought after by other men. And this also goes along with being super available for dates. If you're super available for dates all the time, he's going to assume it's because other men aren't courting you. And then he's going to wonder, like, why is she not in higher demand? She seems like a great girl. Why is every night in her calendar free? The hot energy is having a full schedule. You have one night available. And, ideally, you would have a well-rounded life outside this guy. But even if you don't, even if you actually have every night free, just pick one day. If he says, when can I take you out? Say Wednesday. Don't say anytime, whenever you want. That's giving side character energy. And all of you are main characters. Do not be mistaken. And really, the foundation of this is understanding men love unattainable women. They love them. They love feeling like they got a girl that no other guy could get. Because what feeling does that give him? It's that first place feeling that men love. It's that dopamine rush of winning. Hard if this is making sense. Heart if you have any questions about this rule. So, not being super available. No, we don't. Well, then you're in your feminine. I don't know what else to say. I'm talking about masculine men. Men who like to pursue, men who make good boyfriends. Glad that cleared that up. Perfect. All right. So if you're just joining, we're diving into the rules of dating. Number 6, do not answer the phone. Or sorry, hang up the phone first. Thank you. All right, besties. It's very easy to tell if a man is in his masculine or his feminine. I totally agree. All right. Rule number 7. Don't accept a Saturday night date after Wednesday. If a man is kind, considerate, and thoughtful, he will give you 5 days notice. Otherwise, he doesn't get to see you for another week. And when a man is actually into you, a week feels like eternity. He will not want to wait that long. And that is the best way to encourage him to phone you sooner, is to turn down a last minute date. This is what the book says. The book says a Saturday night date by Wednesday. I would say my philosophy would be 2 days notice. Because I think this book was written a few years ago. We're a bit busier nowadays than this book. So I would say 2 days notice. No matter how much you like that guy, no matter how incredible it would be if he was your husband one day, you cannot accept a last minute date, because once you accept a last minute date, you're indirectly teaching him that it's okay to treat you like that. And remember, great boyfriends are not born, they are built. So when you meet a guy, you are continually teaching him how to treat you simply by the treatment you accept. So if you accept a last minute date, expect to always get last minute dates. But if you're busy because he asked you on a last minute date, you better effing believe he's going to make sure to give you notice next time. If he actually likes you, he'll learn the lesson that you don't accept last minute dates. You have a busy schedule, and he will prioritize making plans with you sooner. And the other thing is, you should have a life. That's the hot energy that men are interested in women, is women who have such a full schedule, such a full life, that they can't accept a last minute date because they are unavailable. Hard if this is making sense, you guys, or if you have any questions on this. And it's not about being rude, and it's not about being like, how dare you ask me out last minute? It's simply being like, oh, I'm really sorry, but I already have plans. So you want to stay in your kind energy. You never want to go into that like mothering, like you did something bad energy, because that's not sexy to men. And don't counteroffer. That's the other thing. Don't counteroffer and say like, I'm free on Monday. I can't tonight, but I'm free on Monday. Be nice, but be firm. Just say, no, sorry, I can't, I have plans. The ball is in his court to fix that. I tell him it's last minute. You need to call me early on. I book up. Yeah. Why not counter? Because countering is still kind of compromising. It should be assumed that an adult man should know to give you days notice. And if you are tempted to accept the last minute date, heed my advice, you guys. Imagine that you are his backup plan for another girl who fell through. All of you are above that. So never accept a last minute date, because you never know what his actual plan A was. And you are above being a plan B. You're not what a guy does when he's bored. You want a guy who prioritizes being with you, spending time with you. When a man knows he can have you 5 minutes after his last girlfriend gave him the boot, he'll call you when he's lonely or bored, not because he's crazy about you. Heart if this is making sense. Don't accept a last minute date. Non-negotiable rule. Do you guys have any questions on that before I go to the next one? Thank you. And I would even say, you guys, in case you just joined, I talked about this earlier. You should get a text confirming plan. Like if he makes plans with you good amount ahead of time for Saturday night, he should text you by 2 p.m. on Saturday confirming that night's dinner. By 2 p.m. That's etiquette. What if something happens last minute? His car better be on fire. Like it better be something really bad for him to cancel last minute. And even still, you should pull back and make him earn another date with you. But I mean, it better be trivial, not like he's tired. Yeah. I mean, there are, of course, things that happen last minute. I'm not saying it's like unforgivable, but I think a lot of women are overly forgiving to men. So use your discernment here. It better be a real reason. And if he does it twice, done. He gets one time, one break. Awesome, you guys. So if you're just joining, we're covering the rules of dating. This is coming from the book, All the Rules. So we're discussing them front to back. And I'm diving into the rules and then we're talking through like the modern day version of them. So as always, my YouTube lives are recorded, or sorry, my lives are recorded on YouTube. So if you missed the beginning or you have to leave early or whatever, check it out on YouTube so you can see all of the rules. All right. Rule number 8. Fill up your time before the date. So a lot of women have high expectations for a date, especially if you're a lover girl, even though all of us on here are ex-lover girls. If you are a lover girl, you likely have envisioned that guy as your husband or the father of your children one day. And so you're showing up to that first date with a lot of expectations. And that's a lofty role for any man to step up into. So, your best thing to relieve your anxiety is to resist the urge to fantasize about him. Detach. Just look at that first date as it's fun. You're not going to meet your future husband. You don't have high expectations for the date. You're remaining present in the moment. If it works out, great. If not, you have a well rounded life already. So you're not desperate for this guy to step into your life and be a boyfriend. That's the hot energy. And so it helps if you have a date Saturday night, not to spend your entire day Saturday getting ready. Because if you are investing a ton of time getting ready, getting your hair blown out, all this stuff, and then the date flops, then you're like, wow, what a waste of time and effort. It's better to fill your day doing stuff. And so when you show up to that date, first of all, you're already in a flow. I know personally, like if I'm alone in my room all day and then I go meet someone, it's like I'm almost like I'm like a little out of practice with socially. Whereas if I'm chatting with my girlfriends and then I meet up with a guy, it's like I'm already in that flow. And that's why another technique I have my clients do, if they are taking an Uber or a cab or whatever to meet a guy, chatting with the driver, getting that flow going before they meet the guy. So you're not walking into that date cold, not talking to anybody all day. Then it just feels more natural. But what you're not doing is ruminating on that date all day, telling all your girlfriends how incredible it would be if it worked out and how your star signs are aligned, how he could be the one. You're building all these lofty expectations in your head, and it just, it's a hard, it's just not working to your advantage as a woman. That's really the bottom line. It's setting you up for disappointment in some way because you are making that guy out to be somebody he's not. Hard if this is making sense. So before the date, prioritizing other things. You're not sitting around all day thinking about him, dreaming about him, getting nervous for the date. Go to the gym, go for a walk, hang out with your girlfriends, take a nap, read a book, watch my TikTok, do whatever you have to do. Don't sit around all day fantasizing about him. All right. Rule number 9. Here is exactly how to act on date 1, 2, and 3. First of all, reminder, we talked about this. This is rule number 1, realizing that you are the prize. You are one of one. I don't care if he's dated all supermodels. None of them will ever wake up one day and be you. Your power will always be your uniqueness. All of us as women are above competing with each other. In my opinion, that is a tool of the patriarchy to keep us busy competing with each other instead of building each other up and rising together. Rise above that. Lean into everything that makes you unique. That is your power. So on the first 3 dates, you want to show up as relaxed as possible. You're not showing up thinking he's going to be your husband. You're showing up thinking, oh, it's going to be a fun night. That relaxed, carefree energy is sexy. It's magnetic. That's what draws him in. And you have to be the one to end the first date. It's very similar. It's very similar that, you need to be the one to end the conversation on the phone first. You need to be the one to go home first. The name of my YouTube channel is xlovergirl_Carissa. It's the same as my TikTok. It's also linked in my bio. You need to be the one to end the date first. So you're not lingering. You're not free to go to like 6 different bars after. No, like you have stuff going on. You have a busy schedule. And if you have to, tell him like, oh, I had such a fun time. This was really great to see you, but I have to get up early in the morning. Remember, you have a well-rounded life. This guy is lucky to get a little bit of your time. And this is a non-negotiable rule. This next one is non-negotiable. Do not ever invite a guy inside your apartment on the first date, and do not go to his apartment on the first date. And this is, non-negotiable. There is no questions. Any guy who wants to date you, maybe he will ask to see how you respond, but a guy that is actually going to date you is not going to be the guy who sees the inside of your apartment on a first date. If he asks, the answer is no. No is a complete sentence, by the way. You have no explanation owed for that one. If everything's going great with that guy and you invite him up to your apartment on the first date, you've just squashed it. Now he sees you as a fling. I'm saying this with love, you guys. I feel like it's not talked about enough. Like the less pretty stuff of dating. But that is do or die. That's going to totally change his impression of you. Even if it's for a drink. I don't care. You've been on one, 2, 3 dates with him. He's still a stranger. All right. Any questions on that before we go to the next rule? Any questions? Awesome. All right. Rule number 10. How to act on dates through commitment. So the first 3 dates, you showed up and you were really sweet. But the 4th date, you're going to show more of yourself. This is coming from the book, All the Rules. So we're reviewing the rules and then I'm giving you like my updated opinion on it because it was written a few years ago. So by date 4, you are showing more of yourself. Again, you are never playing therapist or mother to a man. Do not get into that role for him. You're obviously expressing sympathy for his life. You're looking into his eyes. You're being an intentional listener. But you're still not mentioning the words marriage, wedding, kids, or future. You don't want him to think that getting married and having kids is the North Star in your life. That tells him that he holds the power between you and getting what you want the most, even if you think that's your life calling. Do not let him think that. So if he asked you, what are you looking for? Your answer should be something along the lines of, well, I don't know. I feel like I'm having a lot of fun right now in my life. And I guess I would be interested in dating a guy, like committing to him, but he would have to be really great, like a really great guy for me to put that in my life. And so already this guy is like, who is this amazing guy that she's talking about? How can I be that good of a guy? And now he's competing with the guy that you've made up in your head. Instead of him knowing that he's earned the spot of your boyfriend before he's done anything, before he's put in any effort, before he's proven himself. And mark my words, you don't want just any schmuck as your boyfriend. He should have to earn that spot. Any of you who have been in a bad relationship, you know, dating a bad guy, dating a dud, oh my God, that's a slow death. You want to be vetting these guys. You want to be assessing, is this guy adding to my life or subtracting from it? You only want a guy who adds to it, obviously. And the other thing with this is some of you, again, while well-intentioned, I get it. There's no shame right now. But I'm telling you this so that you know for the next time. You show up on a date with a guy and you start talking about past relationships, which is understandable. That's a conversation you should have with a guy you're dating. And you start talking about how horrible your exes were to you. And while I empathize with that, I see your guys' DMs and I know all the bullshit you guys have been put through. You know what a man thinks? Wow, if I'm even halfway decent to this girl, she's going to think I'm incredible. And now his effort is going to plummet because he's like, she's been treated so bad in the past that my mid effort is going to look good. But instead, if you're telling him, oh, I had incredible boyfriends, they treated me like a queen, they did this and they did this, he's like, wow, her standards for men are really high. I better really keep with that standard or she's going to be unimpressed. It's that simple, you guys. And also understand no matter what bullshit a guy has done to you in the past, that is not like your future to continually repeat. That's that guy's issues that he was projecting onto you. It's not your cycle to keep repeating, dating men who treat you awful. Hard if this is making sense, you guys, or if you have any more questions like that. It's really what's said and the unsaid, I think, on dates. It says this in the book, direct quote, don't tell a man he's the first man to treat you with respect. He'll think you're a loser or a tramp. That's from the book. Set the standard. Men treat you incredible. And then he's like, wow, I better treat her incredible or I'm going to lose this incredible girl. And I saw a question on kissing, which is a really great question. When should you kiss a guy? I would say a peck on the first date is as far as you should go. Make him earn a real kiss. And then on the second date, if you feel comfortable kissing, that's fine. And we're going to get into the naughtier stuff later on in the live. But as far as kissing, a peck on the first date and then a more serious kiss on the second date if you feel ready. Never push when your body's telling you no into a yes. No man is worth that betrayal. Any other questions on this before we go to the next rule? So if you're just joining, we're covering the rules, all the rules. We're going through one by one the rules of dating. And if you've missed anything, this live is going to be posted on my YouTube. So any of you can go back and watch any rules that you missed, or if you have to leave early, you can catch the rest of them later. Rule number 11, always be the one to end the date first. This is not going to be easy if you actually like that guy. You're going to want to spend as much time with him as possible. But if you prolong the date, you risk him feeling bored of you or feeling like he got too much of you. And it talks about this in the book, 48 Laws of Power, one of my favorite books. I talk about it all the time. Very famous book, you guys. So incredible that it's banned in some prisons because the 48 Laws of Power is like that powerful. And it talks about as soon as somebody feels annoyed by your presence, you're on a downward trajectory. You never want to get to the spot where a man where he's like, okay, I've had enough time with Carissa. I got to get out of here. You want to be the one to end the date first. And it's literally as simple as being like, Chad, I had such a great time, but I have to get up early for work. And then leaving. Remember, when you leave first, whether it be the conversation or the text conversation or the date, when you are the one to leave first, he wants more of you. Yes, if you know, you know. The little bit of connection you'll get by staying that extra hour or two is not worth risking the potential of him getting bored of you. You always want to be the one to leave first. Rule number 12. Stop dating him if he doesn't buy you a romantic gift for your birthday or Valentine's Day. This is going to feel a little burning to some of you. But if a man actually cares about you, he gets you a romantic gift on the birthday or the anniversary or Christmas or Valentine's Day. And here's the thing. It's not about price. Because a romantic gift, if he's broke, it could be a poem. But it's that he's taken the effort to get you a romantic gift. Whether it be flowers or jewelry or poetry or a weekend trip or something, something really personal that you care about. He's showing you he really cares about you. He's getting you these romantic gifts to woo you. But the hard truth is a guy who gets you a practical gift, like I'm trying to think of a practical gift I've gotten. I don't know, like a practical gift of like a toilet paper holder or something like that. That's not a romantic gift. That's not giving like, I'm trying to woo you. I'm trying to earn you. A vacuum cleaner. Yeah. And when you receive a gift, you don't want to be over ecstatic. Like no guy ever has gotten you flowers. You want to be appreciative. That's the thing I would say. It talks about that in the book. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. The two things men want above all is appreciation and acceptance. So I am by no means, I want to be abundantly clear, telling you if he gets you a bundle of flowers that you should be like, thanks. Oh, thank you so much, Chad. I love them. Flowers are so beautiful. They brighten my day. Thank you. That's a sure way to get another bouquet of flowers. You're appreciative, but you're not ecstatic. You're not like, oh my God, guys never do this. No, guys do this for you all the time because you're that bitch. So it's a fine balance to achieve, but I know you guys can do it. It's appreciative, but not ecstatic. So the underlying value of this is that when a man actually loves you and cares about you, he wants to give you things. And it's not just gifts, it's anything. It's like if your glass is empty at a restaurant, he'll fill it with water. Or if you mention you want to try this cafe in Soho, he'll figure out a way to book a res there, whatever. It's again what's said in the unsaid. And I am by no means saying, you guys, that he has to buy you Hermes bags. I don't think a man being stupid wealthy equates necessarily to a great relationship. But it's the effort. It's what's said in the unsaid when he's getting you these gifts. Does he really know you? Does he really care? Or is he just doing the bare minimum to skirt by? That's not a guy who deeply cares about you. Hard if this is making sense, or if you guys have any other questions about gifts. And if a guy doesn't get you a gift, like if he misses getting you a gift for your birthday or Valentine's Day or your anniversary or Christmas, move on. That's not a guy who cares about you. Hard if this is making sense, you guys. If you have any questions on gifts. All right, awesome. Rule number 13. Don't see a man more than once or twice a week. So when you make yourself too available to a guy, your value is going to plummet to him. And this goes back to the principle, the psychology principle we just discussed. If you are too available, he's going to get bored of you. And here's the thing, when a guy really likes you, it's likely he's going to be trying to see you all the time. You as a woman have to be smarter than this. You have to know if you allow a man to see you every single day or super frequently, eventually, even though he was the one driving it, initiating it, he will get bored or feel like he's seen enough of you, seen too much, get annoyed with you. I feel like this happened to me when I was younger. And I would look back and I'd be like, but you were the one who wanted to hang out with me. He won't care. He's just annoyed of all the time he spent with you. As a woman, you have to be smarter than this. Yes, the law of scarcity. Absolutely, babe. It is the law of scarcity. If he wants to see you every day, doesn't matter. You have a well-rounded life. You've decentered men. You have other shit going on. Do not hang out with him more than once or twice a week. And just in general, it's high energy to have things you're doing besides him. I see that happen to women sometimes. Sometimes I have clients who come to me and it's like they totally drop everything when they meet a guy. That's not giving good boundaries. That's not making him see you as the prize. Don't be that girl. All of you are above that. And this continues for the first month or two. The first month or two. So when you're in a committed relationship, it's a different pace. But when you're getting to know him, It's a slow pace as you're building a bond. And I know this can be tough. If you really like that guy, you want to see him all the time, but the payoff comes later. Think about that. Nowadays, we all get instant gratification all the freaking time. So waiting for something feels like death. It feels awful. Delayed gratification, though, is better. Getting the guy to commit to you is better than seeing him every night during the week to the point where you guys are just annoyed of each other and fighting for no reason. That's usually what happens. You just start to bicker. Had too much exposure. I wish I could go back in time and apply this 7 years ago. Yeah, me too. I've definitely been there. So once or twice a week. And remember, men love a challenge. That's why they like tennis and poker and F1 races. So when you're only available 1 to 2 nights, he's like, wow, it's a challenge. I want to spend more time with her. If you are available all the time, no challenge, no excitement, no dopamine. Does weekend count as twice? Friday, Saturday is twice. Saturday, Sunday is twice. Men need to feel conditioned. Men must be conditioned to feel that if they want to see you 7 days a week, they have to marry you. If he wants to get all your time, put a ring on it. Put some money where your mouth is. He has to earn it. And if he texts you or he calls, it's not about being rude or being like you have to earn it. Don't tell a guy this is your rule, first of all. Don't be like, "Oh, sorry, I can only see you twice a week because I'm trying to pace it." No. That's not going to draw him in. He's going to be like, "That's dumb." It's literally just being like, "Sorry, I have plans." Mm, cutting off the sentence there. A lot of you are used to having to explain yourselves. It's this like curse that's been put on so many women. You don't owe this man an exclamation of what you are doing with your time, especially a man who's not your boyfriend yet. So it's literally being like, sorry, Chad, I have plans, but I look forward to seeing you again soon. Mm. You're not saying, sorry, I have plans. I have to go get my nails done, and then I have to go feed my cat, and then I have to blah, blah, blah. No, too much information. He doesn't need to know that. Prioritize yourself, prioritize your own schedule. A man who is in love with you and hopes to marry you won't be put off by the once to twice a week dating structure in the beginning. It's making him have to earn more of your time. He does not just get it because he's 6'5" and has blue eyes. The more he has to earn it, the more he appreciates it. And the other thing with this is when you pace out how often he gets to see you, what does that do? It slows down the pace of your dating and it makes him fall in love with you. That is how men fall in love. A slower pace. It's working to your advantage. It's hooking him. It's making him into you. That's how they really fall in love. Not when they have one intense week with you. Hard if this is making sense, you guys, or if you have any questions. Do you want me to dive into that more? Do you apply this to a boyfriend you don't live with? This is really before you are in a committed relationship. This is like the first 1 to 3 months of dating. What if he's hooked from the first sight? That to me sounds a little bit like love bombing. Be really cautious, you guys, because that's a strategy used by narcissists or like gross men to convince you that they're really into you to hook up with you quicker. So if a guy's super into you from the first date, he doesn't really know you. I would really question that. And even more reason to take things slow. What if he says he doesn't like to take things slow? Honestly, then he probably is not that into you. Because a guy who respects women is going to be willing to move at the pace that they feel comfortable at. A guy who doesn't respect women is going to pressure you into doing things that don't feel comfortable for you. And that is not a guy you want in even in the same vicinity as you. Remember, you're the prize. So if a guy is not willing to wait to get a date with you, if he's not willing to reschedule a date, he's not the guy. And also nowadays, you want a guy who also has a life of his own. So I'm going to be honest with you guys. If I went back in the dating pool and I met a guy who wanted to hang out with me 7 nights a week, I would find that as unattractive. I would be like, why do you not have more going on? So an adult man who has a job, who has a fitness schedule, who has friends of his own, he's not going to be available to see you every night, especially before you're in a committed relationship. 2 times a week max. All right. If you just joined Recovering All the Rules, a very famous dating book, and we're going through rule by rule, and I'm giving you my take because it was written a while ago. So we're kind of updating it. And if you missed any, this live is posted on YouTube. So you can catch the whole live. You can catch the beginning rules that you missed. All right. Rule 14. We touched on this earlier. No more than casual kissing on the first date. That's why I said a peck. A peck. I don't think it's appropriate to be French kissing a guy on the first date. You don't really even know him. And under no circumstance inviting him to your apartment. No. He really it should be pretty PG on the first date. You're getting to know him, you're vetting him. You're not super impressed by a guy who took you to one dinner. So a peck is cute. Draw the line there. And if he really cares about you, he will respect your boundaries. If he's an F-boy who just wants to get laid, he will throw a fit about it. And now you've just saved yourself months of heartache getting involved with the wrong man. So it's about protecting yourself as a woman, but it's also about exposing men who have bad intentions. Is it normal to wait several dates? Wait until you're ready. If your body is saying no to a guy, trust that. Your body has intuition beyond anything. I remember one time I went on a date with a guy, and even though he seemed fine, there was something internally that I was like shaking on the date. And that's my intuition. Like something, I don't know, because I never went on another date with him. I think I honestly blocked him when I got back from the date because I was like creeped out. But if your body is telling you no, trust that. Feminine intuition, unfucking matched. That's the source. You don't need any more evidence. And that brings us to rule 15. Don't rush into intimacy. Now, I know this is a sexy topic for TikTok, and sometimes I get in trouble for talking about it. But here's the thing. This is really important in your dating life. So we're going to go there because especially this topic, I think is not talked about enough. And so it leaves a lot of women unsure of how to navigate this in regards to getting a boyfriend. So if you want to have fun, you're looking for something casual, it's your life to live. But if you want a man to commit to you, you want him to see you as wifey material, there is a very specific way to play it. Understand that if a man actually cares about you, He will respect whatever decision you make, however long you want to wait to be intimate with him. Any guy who pressures you, hard no. Now you've just exposed a secret villain. Any guy who's asking, how long? Bye. Talk to me never. And remember, if a guy gets angry about it, anger indicates interest. This is from the book. Anger indicates interest, and you might be surprised, for he will probably call you again. I disagree with that. That's what the book says. I think a guy who doesn't respect you and gets angry is a bad sign. That's a guy who doesn't respect women. A guy who respects women never wants them to do something they're not ready to do. And that's why, like, you're also going to expose his true intentions by saying no. My rule that I use with my clients is they should not be intimate with a guy until they have a commitment. So really it's at 3 months. And I know that's a long time for a guy to wait, and that's kind of the point. A guy who actually wants to date you will wait. And a guy who wants to hook up with you and then move on or lock you down in a situationship, he's going to have an issue with that. But now you just, again, have saved yourself heartache. Because here's the thing, when you are intimate with a man, your body floods with oxytocin. Oxytocin is the love hormone. It bonds you to a man. But because men's bodies have so much more testosterone, they do not get the same rush of oxytocin as you do. And that is why so many women, myself included, have experienced the pain of being intimate with a man and feeling more connected to him after than he feels to her. Has that ever happened to you guys? I feel like so many women have been through that, where it's like, what changed? What switched? And it's like, he just doesn't feel as attached as you now feel. And so, really waiting to be intimate with a guy until you have that commitment is so important, because once you have been intimate with him, basically your brain is hijacked by all these chemicals, and you start to make that frog out to be a prince. You start to see all his red flags as beige flags. You start telling your friends, maybe he'll change. Maybe I can deal with it. He's never had a girlfriend, but he's the one. You're not thinking straight anymore. You're in the fog. I always say the F-boy fog. You're seeing that guy for somebody he's not really. So it's just not advantageous to you as a woman. And putting that aside, it reduces the drive for men. It shouldn't. I know there's all these like cool girls on here who are like, sleep with a guy on the first date. It shouldn't matter. I agree. It shouldn't matter. But to most men, it does. And I remember I was given that advice when I was in my early 20s, and it was seen as like, men do it and women can do it too. This is feminism. And you know what? It not once felt like feminism. It felt like a lot of heartache and a lot of getting attached to men who had no intention of dating me. It was so painful. It's the worst advice, in my opinion. And so that's why I do want to, stand on this to you guys, because I do think it's a lie a lot of women have been told, and it's not helping you find your dream relationship. A lot of times it's causing you to get attached to losers who don't deserve an ounce of your energy. So I know it's hard to put off sleeping with a guy that you're really into, but again, delayed gratification, it's worth it. If he's going to be your boyfriend, your husband one day, worth the wait, worth not rushing anything. This is coming from the book. Every woman we know who said it was okay if a man didn't call after sleeping with her was actually not okay when he didn't. So that's another thing. Don't lie to yourself and be like, I'm cool with the casual thing. If you like this guy, you're likely not. Have your own back. Don't abandon yourself for a man. That's hot girl energy. And the other thing with this is not assuming that just because you and that guy have been intimate that you're now together, unless you've had that conversation, which, as I said, I would encourage you to do that. But men assume, this is coming from the book, men assume that once a woman is intimate with them, that she will become more attached. That is just a common, I don't know, like situation that arises. And it talks about this also in Why Men Love Bitches. And Why Men Love Bitches, it gives the advice to just act cool and not be phased, like nothing changed after you slept with him. So the book we're covering today is All the Rules: Time-Tested Secrets for Capturing Mr. Right. So don't assume just because you and him were intimate, anything has changed. Don't cling to him if he has to leave that night or the following morning. And that's why it's so imperative that you have a commitment out of him before you sleep with them, so that you don't have that overwhelming fear I feel like a lot of women have experienced. I know I did in my earlier dating when I was younger, of like, oh my God, I just slept with that guy. What if he doesn't call? What if he goes? What if it changes? So the book is called All the Rules. It's a very famous dating book that we're going through. So hard if this is making sense, or if you guys have any questions on that, because I do think that's a very important topic and it's not talked about enough, because it's hard to kind of talk about intimacy on social media, because it can get banned pretty easily. But it is really important. It is really important in your dating lives and protecting your heart from the wrong men who just want to hook up with you and then bounce. So what questions do you guys have on that? Awesome. I'm glad this is helping. Okay, perfect. So we're going to go on to rule 16. This is a tough one. Don't tell a man what to do. If any of you have ever nagged a guy, or begged him, was what I was trying to say, to do something you wanted him to do, you understand that it's like kind of like telling a kid to do something you want. He will not do it. Like, he will purposely not do it because you were asking him to do it. And it's kind of the same way with adult men. So don't tell a man what to do, because then he's less likely to do it. Your best strategy is to use positive reinforcement. So when he does something you like, being appreciative, like the flowers, like we were talking about earlier in the live. Oh my God, babe, I love these flowers. Thank you so much. Then he feels the one thing that men want to feel above all: successful. If he feels like no matter what he does, he can't be successful with you, he's eventually going to throw his hands up and be like, what's the point? There's no point. I can't win with this girl. Understand that you don't own him and you're not trying to fix him. That's feedback I get a lot from men, is like they hate the feeling of a woman trying to fix them. What if he doesn't know how to do anything without you? I feel like all of us feel like that, if I'm being honest. I feel like we all feel like that. That is why this is a tough rule. Much easier said than done. But even in like this other very famous dating book, it was written by a man, and it gave the example of like, if you and him are in a car and you're lost and you start fixing it for him, he feels like a failure and likes you less for it. And I remember when I read that, I was like, so I'm supposed to just be lost with this guy until he figures it out? But that's what this book was suggesting. I do think a man who is secure in himself in his masculine is not going to have that fragile of an ego. I will say that. Maybe like the average guy, but like a great boyfriend, I feel like is going to be able to take a little bit of feedback and be better. So, this is coming from the book now. Leave him alone. When he asks you what to wear or how to play tennis, then you can help him. So, when he's asking you for help, then you give the feedback. But until then, just be there. And the way that I do it with my partner is I'll say, "Are you open to feedback right now?" So I'm not just like, "You did this and you did this," and I'm like dumping on him when he's maybe not in the emotional space to receive it. So it's still being a considerate partner, being like, "Hey, babe, are you open to some feedback?" And then he can say yes or no. And then minimally, he's ready to receive my feedback. And men in their masculine, again, will use it as an opportunity to be better. But again, I'm never saying it in like a nagging way. I'm saying it in a way of like, we're partners, we're trying to make each other better. And so I'm giving you this feedback to be better. But then buckle up, you're going to get feedback too. Welcome to my life. You have to lean in. It's not always easy. So, just a reminder, you guys, if you are just joining, um, if you were just joining, I have my entire live recorded on YouTube. So you can catch the replay if you missed any of it. We're going over the rules. This is coming from the book, All the Rules, Time-Tested Secrets to Capturing Mr. Right. It's a very famous dating book, but it was written a while ago. So we're kind of covering the updates to every rule. So rule number 17, let a man take the lead. So if you jump in and you tell him what to do, you don't let him open the door for you, you don't let him lead. A lot of times men feel emasculated. So it's really just giving him space to lead and showing him that you trust him. You have faith in him that he's going to be able to figure it out. He's going to be able to lead. This is really sexy to men. This is feminine energy. Hard if this is making sense. Letting him lead. I feel like that's a pretty straightforward one. Awesome. Okay, rule number 18. This one, I'm holding your hand when I say it because this one is a little, ooh. Don't expect a man to change. And I wish I could put this on a billboard because I know all of you see the potential of a man. If he could just be the amazing guy you imagine him to be, the amazing partner. But you have to date that guy for who he is right now. I always say, as a woman, you break your own heart when you date a guy for his potential, not who he actually is. Because 9 times out of 10, he never reaches that potential. And you will become exhausted in the pursuit of trying to get a man to do something he doesn't want to do, trying to get him to be somebody he simply is not. And I saw this quote a few weeks ago, and it was like, potential is just imagined. You're just imagining what you would do in that person's situation, but that person is not you. So you're imagining if I was that guy, I would commit to me. I would see how incredible of a woman I am. I would lock me down. I'd buy the ring. You're just imagining what you would do if you were him. Whether or not he ever does that, impossible to know. It takes a lot for a person to change. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm saying you should date a guy assuming he will never change because likely he won't. And if you expect him to change into a totally different person from commitment foam to incredible boyfriend, old habits die hard. It says from the book, the key to a successful marriage is to be happy with the way things are, not the way they could be if he changed. So you can't date a man for his potential. It's a one-way street to being disappointed. And that's why sometimes, I am always grilling men because I'm trying to get the tea for you guys. And I know a very common scenario is women will go out with a man on a date and they will have the conversation, "What are you looking for?" And he will say something like, "Oh, I'm not looking for anything serious." Or, "Oh, I'm just looking to have fun." Or, "I'm super busy with life right now. I just want something casual." And women mistake that as a challenge because that's what's fed to us in these stupid rom-coms, these romance novels where the guy meets the right girl and he totally changes and commits to her. And while that's a great storyline, I like those saucy novels too. I think they're fun. It's setting a lot of women up for failure in your dating life because the feedback I get from men is that I told her from the jump I was not looking for a committed relationship. And when she continued to see me after I laid that out for her, she played herself. That's what he's going to say. When he strings you along for months and he never commits to you and you end up brokenhearted and you have the conversation with him where you're like, "You did this. We've been dating for 8 months and you still haven't committed." He's not going to feel bad. This is what men have told me. He's going to be like, "You played yourself. I told you I didn't want something serious from the jump. You didn't believe me. You thought I would change. You thought my mind would be switched. And now you've just wasted your time as a woman." It makes sense because so many women have this is like the storyline of every great romance novel. It's like he meets the right girl, the player, and he totally changes. It's not realistic. If a guy tells you he's looking for casual, take him at his word. Don't see it as an opportunity to prove yourself or earn his love. People rarely change. It takes a lot of work, a lot of effort, and very few people, very few men are willing to do that. It's a hard pill to swallow. So if you are dating a man, do not wait around for him to change because you might be waiting around forever. You have to date a man for who he is right now. Hard if that's making sense, you guys, or if you have any questions about dating a guy for his potential. Awesome. I'm glad that's helping. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, rule number 19. If you're just joining, we're covering all the rules. That's the name of the book. It's Time Tested Secrets to Capturing Mr. Right. Very famous dating book. It's a little outdated though. So we're going through it rule by rule and discussing the updates to it. And if you missed the previous rules, my entire live is going to be posted on my YouTube. And all my lives are posted on my YouTube. So if you want to go back, go for it. Get all the rules. All right. Rule number 19. Do not open up too quickly. Remember, the person who talks the most has the most to lose. So you don't want to show up to the date and just be trauma dumping, telling him your whole life story, telling him how you have an alcohol problem or whatever. It's too much for him to absorb. And he doesn't know you well enough to give you grace for those situations. Unfortunately, we're all making assumptions about people when we're on a date that we don't really know. So you want to have him get to know you before you share those really intimate things about yourself so that he knows you well enough to accept them, to see that it's just a part of you. It's not your whole story. The book is called All the Rules. So no man wants to be recipient on the receiving end, of a therapy session when he first meets you. So really assess in your mind as a woman, are you talking 50% of the time? Really, the smart woman, the siren, has a guy talk 75% of the time. But I feel like, whatever. That's what I would do. I'll say that. If I was on a first date, I would be constantly asking him questions, trying to assess if he's a good partner to me. I don't have anything to prove to him. And the thing is, men love to talk. The more you let him talk, the more he likes you. That is fact. So if it were me, I would be more interested in vetting him. And then you don't run the risk of over talking. But minimally assessing in your mind, are we talking 50% of the time? You shouldn't be talking all the time. Your initial impression goes a long way with a man. So remember that. When you first meet a guy, you want to make a good impression because it's going to last. And I've asked my guy friends that because there was this trend on TikTok where like guys put you into buckets upon first meeting you. And when I heard that, I was like, what? And so I asked a bunch of my guy friends and they were like, yeah. Instantly upon meeting a girl, depending on how she's acting and what she's talking about and how she's dressed, how she's holding herself, our minds make assumptions. That's just the way the human brain works. So use it to your advantage. I agree. Women like to talk more. That's why I'm saying, as a woman, do not talk more than 50% of the time. This man is not your therapist. You should be assessing if he's a right partner for you, if he's good enough to date you. And you want to make a good first impression because it's going to work to your advantage in the future. When you talk the majority of the time on the first date, it just overloads him. And one, it strips away any kind of mystery. And remember, as I'm always telling you guys, men love mystery. They love women they can't really figure out. So now you're stripping him of the mystery. But then two, he's also feels like he has you figured out. And the dream girl that he imagines in his head, he doesn't have figured out. So you shouldn't be telling him all your problems up front. Tell him those later on. You're just on a fun dinner date. You're not signing your marriage certificate. You don't have to talk about finances on the first date and all these things that happen to you. You're just there to have fun. Hard if that's making sense, if you guys have any questions about that. What if he does? If a man is trauma dumping on you on the first date, I would try to reroute the conversation. I wouldn't sit there and be his therapist. And you have to be careful of this because that's also a tactic by narcissists. They know that women are inherently very empathetic. And so they will tell you something that happened to them, usually something tragic. And then you empathize and you assume like he's telling me this because he feels really close to me. Wow, we must really connect. He really trusts me already. When really that's the move. That happened to me when I was 27. I was seeing this really cute guy. And he was a production designer actually. And he was telling me some like really deep stuff on our first date about just like traumatic things that had happened to him. And I thought in my head, wow, like we're really close. He's sharing all this stuff with me. But in actuality, I found out later, like, that's his move. He does that because it draws women in. It makes them trust him really quickly. Yeah. Are there specific questions you should ask a man to get to know him? Yes, there are definitely specific questions. You should try to be figuring out, one, where he sees his life in 5 years, because that's going to tell you a lot about his ambitions and if they align with your ambitions and where you picture your life in 5 years. You should also be asking questions to figure out his values. If it were me, I would constantly be accessing his character. Like, I know years ago, I went on a date with a guy and he was telling me how he dated celebrities. And first of all, that doesn't impress me. I don't get impressed by stuff like that. But I could instantly tell, oh, this guy is name dropping left and right. He's clearly very insecure. It's like, obviously, he's not going to outright say that to me. But if I was talking the whole time, I would never have figured that out. I would never have kind of uncovered that. But because I'm asking him questions, trying to get to know him, seeming super interested in everything he's telling me, I'm getting a better picture of how he would be as a partner, what drives him. Does that make sense, you guys? And I'm telling you, he ended that date up hooked because I let him talk the whole time. They love it. They love it. All right, awesome. And then the last rule that we're going to cover tonight, we're going to do the other chunk tomorrow, is rule 20. Is you want to be honest with a man, yet mysterious. Men love mystery. Women, they like to be transparent. I feel like we're all transparent with each other. But when you're looking to share your life with someone, you want a little mystery. So you don't want to give away more information than necessary. And think of this like a queen. If you imagine a queen, she's not talking a lot and trauma dumping and going on and on and on and rambling. He's just going to get bored. A queen is very intentional about what she says. She has a slower pace. And when you talk like that, when you're more intentional about what you say, people listen more, just in general. Think about a boss in an office setting. A boss is intentional about his words. He's comfortable with silence. He doesn't feel the need to incessantly fill it. That's queen status, which all of you are that. Do not be mistaken. All right, awesome. That concludes all of the rules, you guys. You can tell I'm like, my voice is getting a little sore. I'll do 5 minutes of questions before I sign off because I know there's been some and I've been ignoring them because I've been prioritizing prioritizing the rules. So what questions do you have based on what we covered today? First date, he told his mom, I'm his first love and that another woman is his first love and will always love her more. Is that a red flag? Yes. You don't want to date a mama's boy. It's always going to be you versus her. An adult man should know that is that he needs to create space for his wife. That's very odd for an adult man to say that. When is a good time to receive gifts? After how many dates is too long? I would say 6. It should be something. It can be small. But 6 dates is really the amount of time that he should like get you flowers or do something, give you something physical. When will you post this live on YouTube? I think it goes up right away. It's recording right now live. You guys will see. It's so funny that the men on YouTube get so triggered. It is so funny. I love it. I love it. Ooh. A good book to read when you're getting back into dating, Becoming the One. Becoming the One is the name of the book. What if you slept with a guy, but he's slowly pulling away? Focus on yourself. Don't sleep with him again. And start seeing other men. Get a roster. Is 5 exes too many for a man? I don't think so. It would depend how old he was, but I don't think so. You want to assess, though, how he's speaking about his exes. So anytime you're on a date with a guy, if he's like, all my exes are crazy, he's the red flag. What's the common denominator in all of those relationships? It's this winner that's sitting across from you. So, or like if a man calls women bitches, that'd be another example. Any man who talks badly about women like that, red flag. Even if she's his ex, he should still hold her in a high regard, no matter what happened. Currently in no contact with somebody I've been in a relationship with 2 years. I'm struggling not to text. A great tip for no contact, you guys, that I have my clients do is using ChatGPT. Like, put the highlights of what happened with you and this guy into ChatGPT and say, like, I'm feeling really angry, or I'm feeling really sad, or I miss this guy. And literally give the prompt, give me a pep talk to not text him, or give me a pep talk on why I should move on. And ChatGPT will have your back. ChatGPT will tell you all the reasons why. You can say, give me psychology, or give me spirituality, or whatever really resonates with you. And it will give you a pep talk and remind you why you should stay no contact. And if you need support, you guys know you can book a one-on-one with me and I will tell you as well. But when it's 2 a.m. and you miss that guy and you're crying, put it in ChatGPT. It's free 99. What if my husband wants separation and he hasn't called in a week after saying that? That's really tough, babe. So I want you to know I really empathize with you. And I would really pull back your energy and try to build a life that makes you light up outside of this man. Because I know it can feel scary that you might be separating from your husband. But just know, one, you're not the first woman to walk that path. And this situation with him, no matter what happens, if you get back together or you break up, will not be the end. It might be a part of your story. And having the mindset that the universe is always working for you, not against you. So you never know. Maybe there's a guy out there who's better than you. Or maybe this fight, this separation is going to ignite the passion between you and your husband again. And you're going to get closer. You never know. And I don't know, certainly. But I do know the universe knows. And so the victor mindset is no matter what happens, it's working to my benefit. Instead of the victim mindset, which is like everything is happening to me. Nope, it's happening for you. And I know that as a woman, there have been things that I thought would be my end. There have been situations that I've been in that I'm like, had someone asked how I would handle it, I would be like, I would be devastated. I would be on the floor. I would never be able to get through that. And then once I had to go through it, you realize as a woman, you are so much stronger than you think you are. And it's not until you're really faced with that fire and you have to walk through it that you realize, holy fucking shit, there's literally nothing women cannot do. Nothing women cannot withstand. He ghosted me and started seeing someone else. Then you lost nothing. A bad guy removed himself from your life. A guy who wasn't going to be a good partner to you removed himself from the life. Remember, you're the prize. So if a guy ghosted you, if a guy ghosted me, I'd be like, good luck. All of you are above begging a man to see your worth, proving your worth to a man, as fucking if. And also remembering there are 4 billion men on this earth. Not one is irreplaceable. The irreplaceable man is a guy who treats you well. And the irony in that is you don't have to replace him because he knows how to treat you. All right, I'm going to put up the Service Plus on here, you guys. I'm sorry, my voice is getting really sore, so I need to sign off. But I put the Service Plus up here. Send me a DM what you're dealing with. Also, book a one-on-one with me if you need support. And as I said, like this entire stream will be posted on my YouTube. So check out the replay. Leave me a positive comment. I would love that. I'm new to YouTube, so I'm trying to kind of get it going. What else? We'll cover the other, you can tell my voice is sore. We will cover the other rules tomorrow. So I think there's 56 rules. I'll have to go through it. But we did 1 through 20 today, and we'll do 20 through 40 tomorrow. But thank you all for tuning in. It makes my day to chat with you. I promise to do more lives. I'm trying to stay true to that. Yeah, I love you guys. It's so good to chat with you.